Hi YouTube, Big Apple again. This time about shotguns. Birdshot for home defense. Are you feeling lucky? So what is the title about exactly? Well, are you feeling lucky that the intruder is going to be close enough for your shot to count? That's something to consider when talking about home defense loads for shotguns, because a lot of people don't understand why number 7 through like number 9 birdshot is a bad idea to have as a home defense load. I mean, obviously, if it's your only choice, you could go with that, but you really need to look at the big picture. So what exactly is it designed to do? Well, it's designed for minimal penetration with a large shot pattern, and it's designed to kill small game birds or shoot clay targets. So your pattern may be, a lot bigger because you're going to have more pellets. They're real small. There's a lot more that you can fit in a shell than you can in buckshot. It has minimal penetration because it's designed to hit these birds and knock them down. It's not designed to go through them. So think about it. You're shooting at a quail that's flying or whatever. You shoot him with birdshot and disintegrate the guy. Well, what good is it? Okay, so large shot pattern, very small pellets designed to penetrate enough to knock birds out the air and hit their vitals and incapacitate them. Or just for clay targets or practice or whatever. That's the main purpose of birdshot. So should they be used for home defense? And I have no. It's only going to pepper your target. It won't incapacitate your threat, and the absolute minimum I advise is number 6. And something that a lot of people don't think about is drugs will lessen pain even more. So if your home intruder is on crazy bath salts or PCP or cocaine or I don't know, whatever, just some sort of drug that's altering their mind and lessening their pain. Well, if you pepper them with birdshot, it's going to do even less damage than before. With something bigger like this, it's going to do a lot less damage. It'll do a lot less damage than a handgun would. But if you go and search images of people that have like intruders that have been shot with birdshot, you'll see a bunch of little dots on their body with pellets that may be penetrated in ½ an inch into their skin. So it isn't effective enough at stopping a threat. You really want to stop the threat. So I've stopped the threat. Buckshot. My personal home defense load that you see on the table is 3-inch double-aught buck. I have the ideal is number 1 because you have more pellets, and the pellets have barely less mass. So they're almost as big as these, but you get more of them. The reason I went with double-aught was because it was I didn't see number 1 available at the store, and it's still effective enough. So to know why it'd be effective, what was it designed to do? So they're designed for medium penetration. They're designed for medium-sized shot pattern. And, they're used to hunt large game, and they're perfect for defense against two-legged game. So basically what I mean by that is this is good at stopping a human being. So you get medium penetration, so you're not busting through a ton of walls and stuff, although granted there's a chance it'll go all the way through them. It gives you a medium-sized shot pattern, so your shot pattern may be about this big instead of this big for birdshot. That also depends on your choke. Obviously, this is just cylinder bore, but regardless, you have a medium-sized shot pattern with a lot of pellets coming out pretty fast that have a lot of mass, and that would be good for stopping a person. So you wouldn't over-penetrate walls, and there wouldn't be collateral damage, but you would stop that person. There's a very large transfer of energy. If you see ballistics test of double-aught buck or number 1 buck or whatever, there's a lot more force that hits the gel and penetrates farther than it would with birdshot. So what about slugs? Okay, well, what are slugs designed to do? They're designed for maximum penetration. They have a small shot pattern. I mean, obviously, it's just like shooting a rifle or pistol. It's just one projectile. And they're used for large game. So is it ideal for home defense? I said if it's your only choice, use it. It has a greater chance of over-penetrating walls, and you have just a greater chance of affecting bystanders. So I don't advise it, but if it's your only choice, obviously it's better than nothing. So slugs, if you see ballistics gel test of slugs, although I keep referring to ballistics gel, that isn't very indicative of what would happen inside of a person, but it's the closest format we have to normalizing, comparing different loads. So it's a good reference point, but you also need to think about a few factors. But with slugs, usually it's hollow in the bottom, so it'll come out, and if it's in a rifled barrel, it'll spin. It'll come out, and usually they break up because it's hollow, and lead's pretty soft. So it'll break up, and usually the pieces that break up still penetrate pretty far. So you do have a chance of over penetrating your target, going through walls, whatever, possibly hurting a bystander, hurting your family, whatever. So then I also have defense loads like PDX-1. So the payload from buckshot is not as effective because, like in the PDX-1, it has a slug and it has 3 buckshot pellets. And a lot of things people don't consider, the pellets are actually copper plated, and they penetrate more than hard cast pellets. So the copper plating on on these pellets helps them retain their spherical shape, and they don't flatten out like regular shot would because they have that copper coating on them. So if you go and look, TN Outdoors 9 did some tests with the PDX-1. It's still very effective because, I mean, it has a slug. The shot pattern is a little bit bigger, but it's also very mismatched. You have the big slug in the middle, and you have 3 of them kind of on the outside, 3 little buckshot pellets on the outside. So it's effective, but I still think ideal is just regular buckshot, double-aught, number 1, even number 2 or number 3 buck would probably be doable. I just strongly advise against going with number 7 or number 8 birdshot to defend against somebody. And some people say, well, how about if I use birdshot first to try to scare them off and then put buckshot in after that? Well, number 1, I don't advise using different loads because you're going to have different recoils. You're not going to be able to train that way. It's going to, and even if you train that way 100 times, the shots are going to feel different. It's just not going to, it doesn't normalize itself. It doesn't stack the cards in your favor. It puts you at a disadvantage. Using birdshot that way, if you just pepper the guy and he runs off, well, you have a lot more chance of that really hurting you in court, because then they could say, well, look, all he was trying to do is hurt me. I went into his house and he just tried to hurt me and do this and that. And even if the chances are small and you're a good person and you don't want to take a life, you do want to stack the cards in your favor. If they're in your house unwelcome, they're not just there to come say hello. You want to stop the threat. That's what I have. Stop the threat. So stop the threat. Use something with good muzzle energy, with good power, with medium penetration. That'll do the job. And for me, it's this Remington 3-inch double-aught buck. You have any questions or comments, post down. Y'all have a good day.